Hello YouTube, Stuart Eichmann again. Here's a breakdown of the Second Amendment and what it was really meant for. Most of you know the Second Amendment, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's not all of it. It is a well-regulated militia is necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, when that was written, everyone was in the militia. Technically, everyone still is. Technically, everyone's military. The draft. And for those of you who don't get the point of this video, this is for the American Second Amendment. If you're not an American, please close the video now. Now, the Second Amendment was not meant for hunting. It was not just meant for defending yourself against someone breaking into your home. It was meant for defense against tyrannical governments, foreign invasion, and of course people breaking into your home. Now, along with the Second Amendment, it is required by law every American male of the age of 18 and older is required to have one rifle, 30 bullets. Or in today's term, since back then that was 30 reloads. And since most magazines for a rifle these days are 30 shots each, 30, and then times that by 30. Get around 900, I think. I'm not good at math. Don't hate on me for that. Anyway, so why was it originally implemented? I answered that already. Why do we need it? It's outdated. So, defending yourself is outdated. Take a good long look in the mirror. Put it in a scenario. Catch some guys breaking into your home. They're armed. You decide you're going to call the cops. They're 18 minutes away. That may not seem like a long time, but in that time, they can shoot you. They can shoot your wife, or your husband, your kids, your roommates. They could start your house on fire. All that. And if you're armed, same scenario. You go over to your pistol, rifle, whatever, pick it up, chamber around, shoot them. That'll get their attention a whole lot quicker. And usually, by the time you tell them to get the fuck out before you fire a shot off, they're running. Criminals are afraid of armed citizens. Somebody breaks into my home, I got two choices. Do I want to hit them with a melee weapon, or do I want to shoot them with my rifle? 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to choose the melee weapon. For one, it's quiet. 2, it has some weight behind it. And 3, I'm not going to get a whole bunch of people telling me I'm an idiot. Now, you could have only melee weapons in the house. That's up to you. You're still armed. But if somebody comes at you with a pistol from the other side of the room while you're running at them trying to swing something for their face, they could easily just pull that trigger. And you're down. It doesn't take a whole lot to kill someone. It doesn't. If you got a problem with the Second Amendment, you can always leave. You don't have to stay here. You go to England, go to, not Russia is allowing them now. You go to Scotland, go to North Ireland. All those countries. Oh, you can even start going down into Mexico. Or France, where they only allow you to have bolt-action rifles. It was not, the Second Amendment was not for hunting. It was for defense. You don't need to defend yourself against Bambi. Also, I'm going to also move on to semi-automatic weapons, like the AR-15. They're not military-grade weapons. Yes, they are assault rifles, because you can easily use them to fuck a lot of people up. But depending on who you ask, they're not assault rifles. Or they are. way, they are not military grade. They are not fully automatic. If you go to Germany and Switzerland, they have military grade weapons. They have fully automatic weapons because the citizens are allowed them. The United States is the most armed country in the world. It is. If we invaded Switzerland or Germany, though, just the semi-automatic weapons, we could probably get them. Or they could turn it around, put a big LMG on a car, and mow us down. They're not military grade. Even a .50 caliber rifle is not military grade. It doesn't have the same kick behind it that the military weapons do. It doesn't. Basically, if you took a semi-automatic AR-15 up against a full-auto M16 right now, you would see the difference. An M16 has more of a kick. It has more power behind the bullet, too, when the kinetic energy is being transferred. And all these gun-free zones and areas, you're encouraging mass shootings. Why? You think a lion is going to go after a gazelle when it knows it's fully capable of defending itself? Maybe. Now, take that same analogy. You got the lion, which is the criminal, gazelle, which is the average everyday citizen. Alright, strip the everyday citizen or the gazelle of all its defenses. No more weapons. The lion, being the criminal, doesn't care about laws. They'll go out, go to a black market and purchase a fully automatic weapon. It's that simple. They'll start going on more mass shootings. And these gun registrations, they eventually lead to confiscation. Happened in Nazi Germany, Soviet Union, in South America, Cuba, Borneo, Vietnam, shall I continue? Even in China. Every day we get more of our rights stripped away that our grandparents enjoyed. It's not something that we can get back easily. Because once the government starts telling you what you can and cannot do, you go more and more into a communistic country. Or Hitler's Nazi Germany, as a police state. Now, most of you don't know this, but in Nazi Germany, the German people were not allowed to have firearms of any sort. In fact, Heinrich Himmler. Sorry, I've only been up for about an hour. Still waking up a little bit. Anyway, he said that the average everyday citizen doesn't need those type of weapons. If they want them, they need to join the army. Seriously. See where I'm going with that? Now, if you take a look at our current president right now, he's going in the same way. He's doing the exact same thing Hitler did, but on a much more covert operation. Slowly. We're already over 18 trillion in debt. We're never going to get back out of that without a war. He's trying to strip our weapons away. So if he decides to go into a new type of government, we can't fight. Let's give a good example of what happened in the United States when weapons were not allowed. Hurricane Katrina. This old lady was put in the hospital by the National Guard for having an unloaded revolver sitting next to her. They beat the living shit out of her. There were more rapes by the police because people couldn't defend themselves. Unarming the citizens, it doesn't help the citizens, it hurts them. That's why the Founding Fathers put that in place. It's why we have amendments to protect us. You take away the Second Amendment and the First Amendment that you enjoy so much. The freedom of speech, expression, all that. I don't know the exact words of it anymore. It's been a while since I've actually had to talk about the amendments. But everything you enjoy about the amendments, especially the first one, you take away firearms. You aren't hurting. You're hurting yourself. You're not helping. Because the First Amendment is protected by the Second. All the amendments are protected by the Second Amendment. You think the government's just going to be good and not oppress you once you're disarmed? Once you're disarmed, they can do whatever the fuck they want to you. An analogy for this: government's Big Bubba in a prison, and you're the punk. Or if you're armed, government's the punk in the prison, and you're Big Bubba. Remember that.